Have you ever wondered why the senior pastor hired a kids pastor? It's because the senior pastor has no clue how to talk to kids. He needs you to do it. So there is a lot of truth in this. I mean, look at a lot of kids pastors. How many of them are able to talk to an adult? Like most, if not all of them. Because if you can talk to a kid, you can talk to an adult. But there are a lot of senior pastors who spend all their time talking to adults, and you put them in front of kids, and they're like, nope, right? And so I want to give you what I do to talk to kids in a super easy way. And I break it down into the P's. That's right. Can you say P with me? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Peas. She said peas. That's just a kids pastor joke. So, the P's. The first P is point. Like whatever the topic is, we need a main point. Like the Bible tells me about God. That's the point. You got to come back to that point often throughout the entire talk, that the Bible tells me about God. And ultimately, if you get the kids to repeat that point, that the Bible tells me about God, you will know that you have been successful. And I think a lot of times when we talk to adults, we don't come back to that point enough. But with kids, if you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, repetition makes permanent, or practice makes permanent. I know a lot of times people say practice makes perfect, but it just ain't true. I mean, I play golf and I do the same golf swing, but you know what? It's not getting any better. Do you know why? Because I've been practicing it the wrong way. And if you practice the wrong way, it will permanently be the wrong way. So practice or repetition with the intent on getting better makes permanent. And so when I'm talking to little people, I have a main point, such as the Bible tells me about God. Ultimately, my goal is that they're able to repeat that, right? Practice makes permanent. Now, number 2 is personal. The second P is something personal about me. Like whatever the topic is, how can I relate to this topic? Like I can tell you that when I was a little boy, my parents would read me the Bible, when we would read the Bible together. And over the years, that time of reading the Bible taught me about God. And that's why we're learning today that the Bible tells me about God. Simple already. Like when I grew up, I have a story about me and the Bible, and now I'm learning that it teaches me about, and look, you already know the answer. The Bible teaches me about God. So then my third P is the passage. Like we have this topic, but what does the Bible have to say about this passage? And this is very, very simple. I mean, you open up a concordance or an exposition or Google, and you can actually type in what does the Bible have to say about this topic, and you're going to get lots and lots of answers. I mean, yes, do your reading, do your research, and use something that is sound and true, but you'll find passages like, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me/Jesus, that the Bible is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and so forth, right? So there's lots in there about how we can learn that the Bible teaches me about God. Yeah, that's in the Bible. When you open it and you read it, it tells us about God. And that's literally it. You can pick any topic in the world. And I have now used my 3 Ps to talk to kids for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes. Maybe you're one of my leaders and you're coming into Calvary Kids and you're doing an actual service, right? And you're having to look at one of these things. Well, it's all there for you, right? I give you the main topic. In this case, it's the basics. I kind of give you a general idea of what the basics are talking about. In this case, we're talking about the basics of theology. And then I give you a memory verse to go with the basics. And then I give you the key point that we're going to repeat over and over for the entire month. And then we go in and I give you how the basics of this morning is scriptures. The basics of that morning is believing in one God. The basics of that morning is Jesus is the Christ. And the basics of this morning is freedom of will. And then I give you a Bible passage for each of those particular passages. Yeah, and then we go down, and the point is covered every time. The point for this day is, when others have doubts about the Bible, I will have faith in Jesus, right? And it goes on to a different point for a different day. When others have doubt about the one God, I will have faith in Jesus. And then when others have doubts about the Messiah, I will have faith in Jesus. And then when others have doubts about following God, I will have faith in Jesus. So if you are filling in for me and you get one of these, it's all there. But let's say you want to make it a better sermon. Well, I have 3 more P's. That's right, 3 more. Now we can use something called a primer, right? In the very, very beginning of everything, you can open up or you can prime the entire message with something that's catchy, that's big, that's boom, like a character. That's right, guys, because the Bible tells me about God. Maybe that was too big, too big of a primer. What about, hey, that's right, we're learning today that the Bible, it tells me about God. And I'm Batman. No matter what the topic is, you can have any primer you want to open and get your attention getting thing on. You know what I'm saying? The next P, which was like, well, number 5 is something personal to the people, right? Something, so the people, how do the people apply to this passage? It might be like 5 signs that you guys are dealing with the Bible, or 5 ways you know that the Bible tells me about God, or actual stories that sometimes I watch you guys read the Bible and you guys really don't know what's going on. And we gotta learn today that the Bible, it tells us about, it can be anything. I mean, anything. How does this topic hit them, the people? Ultimately, we got to come back to our main point that we're repeating multiple times, that the Bible tells me about God. Yes. And then our last P, the 6th P, is practice. Like, what can I do to practice this information? Right? It could be as simple as, this week, guys, we're going to actually open the Bible and read 1 verse a day. And we're going to learn from that 1 verse that the Bible tells me about God. And of course, if you have an older audience or even an adult audience, you can add 2 or 3 different practices. But that's pretty much it, right? A bunch of P's to help you be a better speaker to kids and adults. And that's how I speak to people, /kids, whatever. Anyways, that does it for this video. Be sure to smash that button right there and let me know what you think. How do you talk to kids? Until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan!